I don't know if this is even the right place for this. And I know I'm going to sound completely insane, but I wish it was as simple as just me losing my mind. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to share my story before they take me, so others can learn from my mistakes. It's too late for me now. I hear them trying to force their way in. I've barricaded myself in, so I'm hoping this will have enough time to finish. Let this serve as a warning. I used to be just like any other ordinary college student. My summer break had just begun, and with it, boredom set in. I was looking for things to do when I stumbled upon a flyer for a local game trading event. It listed an address, an image of a controller with the description: share stories, games, leave something behind, take something with you. This should have been it. My ticket out of boredom. How wrong I was. How I wish I could stop myself from ever leaving my dorm. If I could, I would travel back in time to slap myself for making such a stupid decision. At the time, I didn't know it yet. I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. I decided to take my copy of My Little Pony Pinkie Pie's Party for the DS with me to trade, and got into the car and headed for the event. I was in a strangely desolate part of town. Even after living here for the past semester, I wasn't too familiar with the place. I saw some abandoned looking houses scattered throughout the neighborhood as I was approaching my destination. I thought this was strange, but didn't give it too much thought. It was just a cheap neighborhood to live in. As I think back to the decayed homes I saw, it should have been my sign to run. Run as far as I could and just continue being bored. But I didn't. I ignored it like a fool, and now I'll be paying the price. When I got there, it wasn't like anything I'd expected. There was a canopy tent in the driveway with a table under it. Upon it laid some games. There was no one else there. The house looked out of place among the derelicts in the neighborhood. The lawn was trimmed, the paint looked almost fresh, and the driveway seemed as if someone had power washed it just a day ago. I parked in front of the house and walked up to the table. A sign greeted me. Welcome to the game trading event. The rules are simple. Take only what you truly need. Replace it with another game. Do not take a game you don't want. I thought there would be people here. Whoever organized this must have put a lot of trust in random strangers. So I scanned the table, looking for something to cure my boredom. I spotted something that caught my eye. There were a few brightly colored figures on the cover that seemed to be staring straight into my soul. But I guess that's just how older graphics were, so I shrugged it off. Something about it refused to let me go. I felt like I needed this game, so I decided I would be taking it with me. I turned around and froze. It was nearly impossible to move, as if gravity had just doubled. I felt a strange sensation as if something was pulled me back to the table, and I remembered the rules. I hadn't replaced the game. I looked around for a moment, dazed, and shrugged this off as a result of sleep deprivation from my studying. That was another mistake. I should have just put the game back on the table and left. But I didn't. I took up my copy of My Little Pony Pinkie Pie's Party and put it on the empty spot where Pikmin used to be. The second I did that, I felt as if my very soul had just been touched. An intense feeling as if I'd just entered into a contract beyond my understanding. But again, I just shrugged it off. At this point, it would have probably already been too late to change my mind. Seeing as there was no one to talk to, I just went back to my car and drove back. Drive back was eerie. Clouds had come in and given the abandoned-looking neighborhood a dark feeling. I was glad when I finally left it behind. Getting back to my dorm was uneventful. It was a strange experience, but I thought it would make for a funny story one day. Regardless, I was just looking forward to playing my game. As I got back to my room, I sat down and opened the case. I looked inside and saw the game. The manual was missing and replaced with a note that read, "Pikmin rules," in all caps. But other than that, the page was empty. I didn't know what to make of it, so I just put the game in. I was greeted by the all-familiar GameCube intro, but something was off. As the cube tilted down, it glitched and repeated a few times. The first couple of frames of the animation then played back 3 times. And on the 4th one, the intro played without any issues. I guess it wasn't the newest console anymore, and didn't think much of it. The game started up, and I heard a little voice say, "Pikmin." Finally, I would be able to play my game. Little did I know, this was the beginning of the end. As I began to play the game, it seemed innocent. The cutscene started playing, and a spaceship got struck by an asteroid. After that, the pilot woke on a planet. It seemed like just any regular game at first. I was playing through the tutorial when I first came across the namesake of this game. I plucked the Pikmin out of the ground as instructed by the game. My character was pulling at it, but it wasn't moving. It seemed like the animation kept restarting, until suddenly the Pikmin vanished. My character was pulling at nothing. I thought this was strange, but went to restart my console. The case was lying next to it, still open, but something was off. There was something new in red letters. It read, "Rule 1. Do not take your eyes off the game while it's running." As I looked back at the screen, my character was standing still, turned toward the camera. The Pikmin I was trying to pull out of the ground was standing next to him. They were both looking directly at me. I restarted my console, but instead of the familiar GameCube intro, there was a Pikmin staring directly at me. I stared back into its eyes. They looked as if they were full of hatred. A dark fluid was oozing out of them. As I looked down at my console, I saw that a new rule had appeared. Rule 2. Do not look into the eyes of the Pikmin. I pressed the power button, but nothing happened. So I unplugged the power, but it was still there. I turned off my TV, but it was still there. Even as I went to unplug my TV, the Pikmin was still on the screen, following me with its eyes. I took the disc out of the console and put it back into the case and left my room. I was going to bring the game back. Clearly this had to be some elaborate prank of someone just as bored as I was. As I tried to keep myself rational outside of my door, I heard a noise from inside the room. It sounded like the startup sound from the game, just eerily distorted. I opened my door to look inside. The Pikmin was no longer on my TV screen. I shut my door and began to leave. As I was driving back to the decrepit neighborhood, I noticed that the sky had grown even darker than before. I pulled into where the house from before was, where it should have been. I saw house number 3 and 5. In between them was an empty lot. The house was gone. This couldn't be possible. I was just there maybe 2 hours ago. I thought it might have gotten the wrong street. I checked around the neighborhood, but every house looked to have been abandoned. The pristine-looking house from earlier was nowhere to be found. This didn't make any sense. Just when I thought this couldn't get any stranger, it did. In the house, the spot the house should have been, I saw a red bulb with a flower on top and 3 thin brass-colored legs stretching out to support it. It was the thing the Pikmin appeared next to in the game. I couldn't believe my eyes. I must have passed out in my room or something. I walked up to it, and as I stepped onto the property, I heard a loud noise in front of me. It sounded like an unintelligible scream. I looked towards the source of the sound. That's when I saw it. There was no mistaking it. On top of the red bulb was the Pikmin I saw on my TV. Its eyes were oozing a black liquid which flowed onto the bulb it was standing on, running down and dripping onto the ground. I turned around and sprinted for my car. I heard something hitting my car as I fumbled trying to get my key into the ignition. As I started my car, I heard my driver's side window shatter. Bits of broken glass scattering all over as I put it into drive and sped out of here. In my mirror, I saw the Pikmin standing in the middle of the road. It wasn't even making an effort to chase me. It just stared at me, its eyes still oozing that dark fluid. As I drove through the decrepit neighborhood, I saw more of them. Different colors, all with the same fluid coming out of their eyes. At this point, I was speeding. I knew I couldn't let them catch me under any circumstance. Before I could leave the neighborhood, one of them jumped onto my windshield and began hitting it. I screamed, but hit the brakes, which threw it off. This was a mistake. At least 100 of them appeared and surrounded me. They rushed to my car. I pushed my accelerator down to the floor as I felt and heard them getting dragged under my car, but I didn't dare slow down. As I left the neighborhood, I stopped seeing them everywhere. I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted this nightmare to end, to just wake up in my bed. I got to the parking lot of my dorms, rushed into my room and barricaded the door by pushing my closet in front of it. In my hand, I had the copy of the game. I didn't remember grabbing it earlier. I thought I'd left it in the car, but for some reason I decided to open the case. I almost dropped it out of surprise when I saw that a new rule had appeared. Rule 3. Don't try to run. It's pointless. My heart skipped a beat and my skin turned cold. As I looked out at the window, I saw them in the parking lot below, staring up at me. Their oozing eyes all looking directly into mine. I closed my curtains and dropped down onto the floor. From the hallway, I could hear loud noises. They're in the building now. Behind me, I heard my window shatter as a blue Pikmin rushed in. It looked at me and began to approach me with a moderate pace. I started moving away from it, but there was nowhere to run. Out the window would kill me, and if it didn't, they would just do whatever they wanted to severely wounded me. The creature in front of me opened its mouth, revealing rows upon rows of unnaturally sharp teeth in its comically oversized mouth. Its teeth looked as if they were made of the same black liquid that was oozing out of their eyes. Before I could react, it latched onto me and tore of my leg. I screamed in agony as my blood pooled on the floor. I reached down at where my leg used to be, and I saw the black liquid sealing up my wound. I had no time to worry about this. I looked over at the creature and saw it eating my torn off leg. I threw up before grabbing a speaker off my floor. The creature seemed entirely uninterested in me. I crawled next to it with the speaker and tried to crush its head with it. It released an unnatural scream and bit at my floor. I rested my entire weight on the speaker to keep it restrained, and then I put my free hand around its neck and began to choke it. Slowly, I felt its struggle fade as life left its body. I pulled myself off the creature and cried as I tried to catch my breath. What do I do now? How do I even survive this? There is no escape. My thoughts were interrupted by loud noises from the hallway. They found me. I heard them happily humming while striking at my door. That's it. This was just one of them. I saw how many were out there. I didn't stand a chance. So I decided to write this post so that whoever finds me will know what happened. So that when someone else goes to a game swap event, they can make better decisions than I did. Most likely going to break down my doors soon. So let me finish this off with one thing of my own. Rule 4. Do not go to game swap events.